YouTubers, Hankster here, and today we're going to do a double dose of movie reviews today, and we're going to start off with Paul, starring Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and Seth Rogen. Of course, you remember Simon Pegg and Nick Frost co-star with each other in two other movies. Of course, the British zombie parody Shaun of the Dead, and the buddy cops movie Hot Fuzz. This time around, Simon and Nick play a couple of sci-fi nerds who, after a big science fiction convention, they decide to take a tour of famous UFO sighting sites. Nick, of course, plays an aspiring science fiction writer, and Simon plays a aspiring artist who likes to draw women with three breasts. During our little tour, they run into Paul, played by Seth Rogen, or at least his voice is. The character, of course, CGI. Seth Rogen, of course, is best known for his role earlier this year as the Green Hornet, which is now out on DVD. Go check it out. Of course, they wind up helping Paul try to get to his rendezvous with the mothership while being chased by a bunch of American spy service, Secret Service type guys, led by Jason Bateman, who of course who's being bossed around by a mysterious female voice, who of course we later find out is Sigourney Weaver. Wow, kind of odd to see her in an alien movie. Of course, Paul escapes confinement from Area 51, which he has been for the past 61 years, and has been advising the American government, along with some well-known movie directors. One thing to note about this movie, of course, there's a lot of funny references to a lot of science fiction and action-adventure movies, including Star Wars and Indiana Jones. But they're a pretty good place there. You really don't expect them to come out at you, but but you get a good chuckle after it. Now, of course, during the little chase run from the Secret Service guys, they also have to contend with a couple of rednecks and a family of whacked out Christian fanatics who really don't believe in aliens. Of course, there's a little bit of a romance with Simon Pegg and the daughter of the Christian fanatic, and Nick really doesn't get any, so don't worry about him. But it is a really good movie. It's got a little bit of action, definitely a lot of comedy. Special effects are pretty good, especially the CGI on Paul the Alien, and now, of course, as you remember, I did say that Seth Rogen played an asshole in Green Hornet, but he did find it better to play Paul here. Of course, Paul was sort of an asshole, but it just, Seth Rogen's voice fit for this guy. And for a brief time, I really didn't know who Seth Rogen was. I forgot that he played in Green Hornet. And I, just recently double-checked, and that's Seth Rogen. Of course, once again, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost played really great in this movie. Even better than they did in Shaun of the Dead. Now, of course, if you must know, Paul is sort of E.T. for dudes. Doesn't have all that sissy, girly, syrupy stuff like in E.T. or anything like that. This is totally a movie. You sit back and get a good chuckle with your buddies and stuff, and all that. So now, of course, there is, once again, a lot of references to a lot of science fiction and action adventure genres. So all the fanboys might get a good laugh out of it as well. So if it's still playing in your theaters, or at least in the cheaper theaters, I of course saw this in late March. It might not be still in wide release, but it's a really good movie to see. I really suggest you to get a chance to see this, or at least wait till it comes out on DVD pretty soon. So check out Paul, starring Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and Seth Rogen. And now let's get on to part 2 of the movie review special. Alright, YouTubers, we got part 2 of our double dose movie review here, and we're going to focus on Rango, starring Johnny Depp. Of course, I saw this the following day after Paul, and this movie, of course, is a 100% CGI movie, which involves a pet gecko, or a chameleon, played by Johnny Depp, who winds up getting lost in the desert after his aquarium gets crashed out of the back seat of his family's car. Of course, Rango is an aspiring actor and winds up having to use his acting abilities when he winds up in an animal-infested Wild West town. He, of course, takes on the name Rango and tells everybody that he killed a group of brothers with one bullet. Of course, after getting fame for that lie, he winds up becoming sheriff of the town, and get that post given to him by an aged turtle in a wheelchair, played by Ned Beatty. I really don't recognize most of the other actors and actresses in this movie, voice-wise. And of course, he does get a love interest with an unusual lizard, who kind of freezes in a defensive posture every few moments, so you keep an eye out for that. Now, one of the things that's made this movie kind of controversial is the complaint by mothers that there is smoking in the movie. Now, of course, which is interesting, they're only smoking matches, and it's not the lead characters. It's mostly like the side characters, and you can hardly notice them. I hardly even notice any smoking. Even while the lead characters was drinking something called cactus juice, which kind of alludes to alcohol, but nobody complains about that. And of course, these same women don't complain about a rabbit that shits jelly beans, of course, making that movie #1 for 2 weeks straight. Of course, Johnny Depp's character winds up becoming sheriff, and of course has to find out the mystery of what happened to the town's water. In this town, being of course it's the middle of a desert, water has become sort of a financial commodity to the people of that town, and he has to find out what happened to the water that was stolen in their bank. Of course, mistaken identities and misleads. Of course, we all find out who really stole the water, just to bring him more power to the area, and of course, kind of model his area after Las Vegas. A little spoiler there. Of course, yes, Rango does get found out as a phony later on in the movie, and of course, he has to build up his courage and prove himself to the townspeople that he's not really a coward. Pretty much the CGI in this movie is really good, and there's a lot of good comical aspects to this, especially Rango himself, who kind of becomes sort of a parody of Don Knotts' Barney Fife character, which did pretty well. Of course, you can really tell it's Johnny Depp when Rango runs around screaming, because he does sound like Captain Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. So take a listen to that. Well, I have to say, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of morals to learn about. To kind of find yourself and not to live on lies, obviously. And that kind of thing. This particular poster that I'm showing here, which is one of the promotional schemes of the movie, kind of reminds me of another Johnny Depp movie that was done back in the late 90s. I forgot exactly the title of it, but it does involve Las Vegas, and he kind of wears a Hawaiian shirt and kind of like a Gilligan's hat on the poster, but it kind of reminds me of that. Maybe it is a reference to that particular that particular promotional poster they kind of did this for, that Johnny Depp starred in all those years ago. But I do suggest for everybody to check this out, except if you are a paranoid mother. to you paranoid motors out there, get a freaking life. If you're gonna accept rabbit shit and jelly beans, which is kind of gross, then come on, side characters smoking lit matches, come on, they're not going to get anything out of that, and the kids aren't really paying attention. They're paying attention to the main characters, so get a life. But this is definitely a very good movie. Check it out if it's still in theaters. I'm not totally sure when this is going to be out on DVD, but check it out when you get the chance. And that, of course, is the end of my Double Dose movie review. Check out coming out soon is, of course, my review on Thor, which will probably be around after Monday when I go see it. So check it out and stay tuned.